In a quiet neighborhood of the city stood an old but well-kept house where Rashid lived alone. He was nearly 50 years old, his face carrying the marks of time and responsibility. Life had once been kind to him. He had worked hard, built a stable life, and loved his wife deeply, but fate had taken her away after a long illness. His children had grown up and moved abroad for work and studies, leaving the house full of memories but empty of voices. Every morning Rashid made his tea alone, spent his days in silence, and passed his evenings with thoughts that no one heard. People respected him, yet very few understood the loneliness he carried inside.
With time, life settled into a quiet harmony. The house no longer felt empty, it felt peaceful. Aisha continued her education and ensured her mother received proper treatment. Rashid found himself smiling again, rediscovering purpose in everyday moments. They both understood that love is not defined by age or noise, but by patience, respect, and responsibility. Their story was not loud or dramatic, but it was real, a bond built not on desire, but on understanding, dignity, and shared silence that slowly turned into light.
We need to
After
talk
days
about
of
this.
reflection and prayer,
I know, but
Rashid
it's not
chose
that
honesty
simple.
and responsibility. He spoke to Aisha calmly and respectfully, telling her that he would never force her into anything. If she wished, he was willing to take responsibility for her life with dignity and respect, and if not, she was free to leave with honor. Aisha took time to think. She realized that what she needed most was not wealth or escape, but safety and respect, something she had already felt in Rashid's behavior. With careful thought and mutual consent, they chose marriage. People talked, questioned, and judged, but Rashid stood firm, believing that protecting a life with sincerity was never wrong. One evening, Rashid noticed tears in Aisha's eyes. When he gently asked what was wrong, she broke down and told him the truth. Her relatives wanted to force her into marriage with a man known for his bad habits and anger. She was terrified but powerless. That night, Rashid could not sleep. His heart was heavy with concern, yet his mind was filled with doubts, society, age difference, and the fear of being misunderstood. He stood at a crossroads, knowing that silence could destroy an innocent life, but speaking up would bring judgment. As weeks passed, the atmosphere of the house slowly changed. The silence was no longer heavy, it was shared. The sound of cups being placed on the table, soft footsteps, and brief conversations became part of daily life. Rashid and Aisha spoke little, but when they did, their words were sincere. Sometimes Rashid spoke of his tiredness, sometimes Aisha mentioned her mother's medicines. Without realizing it, they began to understand each other's pain. Rashid felt, for the first time in years, that his presence mattered to someone. Aisha felt that someone finally saw her not just as a worker, but as a human being. One day, a young girl named Aisha came to work in the house. She was only 20 years old, quiet, hardworking, and clearly shaped by hardship. She had come from a village to earn money for her sick mother. Her father had passed away years ago, and life had taught her early that responsibility comes before dreams. Aisha worked from early morning until evening, cleaning, cooking, washing clothes, and then returned silently to her small room. She spoke little, but her actions reflected honesty and dignity. From the first day, Rashid decided that as long as she worked in his house, she would be treated with respect and feel safe.